So I think when somebody says, oh, it's a shame it's not a screen print, we don't take that personally. It's like, okay, cool, you're a screen print collector.
I take it personally.
Yeah, you take it.
What do you mean you don't want it as a screen print? What about the picture? I made the picture.
The people's barometer of greatness is non-existent. People don't know what great is anymore. That's one of the problems.
Hi there, my name's Peter Hendricks and I've been collecting film posters since my teens. I've always loved films and going to the pictures, and I always used to love looking at what was going to come next and look at the lobby cards and the posters.
Hi, my name is Paul Shipper and I'm a movie poster artist. I watch movies a lot and then get the movie posters, and they end up on my bedroom wall, certain ones that kind of I had a connection with.
So I used to go to every 6 months what was called the Westminster Film Fair, which is even still going now, some 30, 40 years later. I was very much into Star Wars at the time, and I managed to pick up a copy of Return of the Jedi, which is done by a Liverpool artist called Josh Kirby. When I was at the actual Westminster Fair, somebody had a whole pile of them that they picked up at some point, and I picked it up for 50 pence. Let's just say you pay a lot more now for that poster.
Adventures in Babysitting was one of the earliest ones I got because it was from the video shop. And like, other than that, I didn't really know where to get like movie posters from, apart from when you saw them in a video shop and you say, what are you doing with that afterwards, you know, and they'd put your name on it, you would be able to collect it. So that's how I got a few movie posters. But from there it was conventions. So where I grew up in Manchester, every so often there was a movie memorabilia fair, and I'd go there and there would be people dealing in posters, so you could like go through them and find things, and it became like a hunt for illustrated movie posters that I liked.
Recently, I went to Oakley Court and became a seller myself, and that was great to liaise with other buyers, other collectors, and have a chat. That was like going back to the 80s for me, a kid in a sweet shop.
I'm a commercial artist, illustrator. I also design as well, and I trained as a graphic designer. I was very lucky that in 1982 somebody pointed me in the direction of Palace Pictures, who had literally just started their operation as a theatrical distributor, and their second film was The Evil Dead. And so I was very lucky to meet them at the time when they were looking for somebody to do their poster, and so that's really where it kind of really began with the horror stuff.
Hi, I'm Mark, and one of the organisers of the Oakley Court Film and Memorabilia Fair. It's so nice to do a traditional film fair, but there's certain genres that are going to attract collectors anyway. James Bond, Star Wars, certainly some of the horror stuff. There's a lack of interest in Ealing comedy. There's a lack of interest in Carry On. There's getting to be a lack of interest in Hammer.
We touched upon alternative film posters, which has become a whole new area for me in particular as well.
You know, I think we'll see with a lot of the alternative movie posters that the biggest subjects are the popular films of the 70s and the 80s.
I lost a lot of interest in collecting film posters simply because of the quality of the art that was produced. All posters now are governed by marketing departments of the large studios, and people have to have certain size pictures and certain positions on the poster, which dictates really the design, whereas the alternative movie poster scene has been fabulous really from the point of view of creativity.
Hi, I'm Tom Walker. I'm an artist from Liverpool. I started as a fan myself, going to conventions, picking stuff up, like waiting for the Mondo drop, stuff like that, and then eventually just fell into it by doing commissions at the night time. The commissions got me more money than the actual job, so I moved into that then. And then I fell into doing work with Bottleneck, and then from there it's been what it is now. The artist that inspired me the most obviously you go back to the Frazetta. Frank Frazetta is the ultimate fantasy artist, and guys like Matt Ferguson, and it's lucky that we've got guys like that in the UK who are giving people like me a chance.
Go on then.
What, am I going first?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm Matt Ferguson and I make movie posters.
I'm James Henshaw and I run Vice Press with Matt Ferguson.
I did my first ever convention, the Thought Bubble convention in 2013, and I didn't know what I was doing or anything like that. Anyway, people were annoying me all day, like wanting to buy stuff and talk to me, which I've now found out that's what you do at a convention apparently, people talk to you. Anyway, and then this guy came up with his girlfriend and I was like, oh God, here we go, another one. And then it turned out it was him. And he was actually all right, he was nice. And we actually got along really well.
We did.
Pretty much everybody there, he was the nicest person, I think. So then we just talked, because he had this blog, James had a blog, and then we started Vice Press, made posters and stuff.
All the way through what we've done, everything's been quite organic, nothing's been forced. And I think how it's
I've
all...
forced the fact that it's got to be organic.
Yeah, there is that, yeah.
I like things to just happen, because then you get happy surprises.
We're just trying to make it as accessible as best as we can, work with as many artists as we can, and also newer artists as well.
My name's Dolly and I'm a freelance illustrator and designer. So I started off designing posters as a hobby more than anything else. It just started off as like, let's do a few minimal posters because that was what was big at the time. Did a few of those, shared those online, got probably a handful of likes if that. That was the beginning of poster design for me. So working with the gallery is always really fun. It's kind of like a symbiotic relationship. It's like you want to work on a property that's dear to you.
When we hire an artist, and when we agree that property, it's because we think that artist's style matches that
Yeah, well, you
property.
show them a list, don't you? You go, which films on this list do you like the look of? And they'll go, oh, that one, that's my favourite movie or whatever. And you go, well, go on then.
Yeah.
And then you leave them to it.
Yeah.
Free sticker. Thank you, Neil. Give it a little fold. Roll it. There. Pop it in a tube. Spank it on the bottom. My name is Keir Young and I'm the co-founder of More Art Gallery. We are always like on the lookout for new artists because we want to have someone that we've helped have a few sellouts, and it's awesome working with those artists sort of that that you want to work with, like Tom Whalen. He's like an insane artist, and when he said he'd work with us, we were like, amazing. Artists like Dolly, he's just like, yeah, absolutely, I'll work with you, and that's awesome.
For me, it's like the gallery scene and doing posters is like personal work for me. So if I'm interested in the film, if it's near and dear to me, then I want to create a poster for it. It's never a case of let's just do it for the heck of it. So going to conventions like the highlight of the year, connecting on a one-to-one basis with the people that collect your art it's always amazing because you never know why someone likes your work and so forth unless you start going to the comments, which generally you try to stay clear of comments.
Liaising with artists has been interesting. Going to various Comic-Cons and functions like Thought Bubble, those sorts of events have been great really, where you can meet the artists, have a chat with them, get inside their head, have a chat why they did what they did, and that's been thoroughly enjoyable. I've really enjoyed that.
I hate conventions. I see them as like a necessary evil. I'd rather just be at home in my little hobbit hall. He likes it though.
I think the thing with conventions, from my perspective, is that people still really like that shopping experience, don't they?
I've never liked shopping. It's the most horrible,
normal people,
painful thing in the world you could ever do. I hate shopping with a vengeance. Oh, I hate it. Browsing for stuff. I ain't got time to browse for stuff.
Some people like shopping, and it kind of, they like that kind of seeing things physically and tangibly and going and kind of thing. They're fun. I find them fun, and you do enjoy them to a degree.
A convention, it's like a massive convention, there's hundreds of thousands of people and none of them know what it is, and they just go, what's that? I like it, and then go, oh, how much? 50 quid, don't like it that much.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, and you get people trying to haggle and stuff like that.
Get
lost already. Go on then. Thought Bubble, for example, which is a much more low-key curated festival. I like that. I've always liked that because it's more chill, and I like the people that come. They seem to be a bit more like me.
just love like the vibe of everything, the amount of artists, the amount of creativity. I love kind of meeting, networking, a bit of schmoozing. I like that as well.
It's such a solitary sort of job. We talk to each other online, that's about it. But getting together once, twice a year, it's good to catch up when we go out afterwards, have meals, have drinks, have a laugh. So it's really good to catch up and network as well.
Having that meet and greet has been great, because obviously when you post things online and you get to know people online, that's great. But to come to places like this and actually meet them face to face and putting a name to a face, it's been great for that as well.
Being able to be a guest at a convention and meet fans and talk to them, and people can buy your artwork and you can sign it for them, and they have good mementos. And from that, being able to meet other people in the profession as well, that was one of my favourite parts of doing the conventions. Like, might have been a Thought Bubble one. That might have been the first time I met Matt Ferguson as well. That's a good thing for other artists to mingle, because you are basically stuck in a studio or wherever you decide to work, and you're hopefully busy on projects, and you don't get out much. You're either honing your craft or you're working, and hopefully you're working and thus honing your craft at the same time.
I'd like to do a poster convention that's just for posters, and not just artists that make film posters, but dealers that sell film posters and film posters.
Exactly.
That's what we could call a convention. Film posters.
I'm Rob. Got here not too early in the grand scheme of things, so it's probably about sort of 7:30ish. But it's been, sun's just gone in now, but it's been a very nice day to see outside, so it's definitely warmer than Thought Bubble, that's for sure. Basically some of Matt's old prints primarily. I've got most of his new stuff, so I saw a couple of bits he posted online, and then depending on what's left by the time I get to Raid 71, then we'll see.
Under 2 hours? Just under 2 hours to get here today. And we're looking for mainly one thing, which is Matt Ferguson's lobby art print, printed by More Art Gallery, and hopefully get that signed and picked up today.
So we're at the first open house, Vice Press open house that we've done.
Set this up so the artists that we work with and us could meet customers face to face, talk about what we do, and sell some posters to some people. That's what we've done.
So we're just really thankful for everybody's support, really, aren't we?
Yeah. Tired.
Yeah, it's been very exhausting.
There's a lot of new people coming to the hobby since the pandemic, and I've noticed there's a lot of new people in the forums, and that's really good. And the artists are fantastic. We've had so many new artists that keep coming through in recent years, and many of them are here today that weren't around just like 4 or 5 years ago. So it's really good to see.
Doing this sort of thing is like the highlights of my year. It's something in the diary that you can look forward to, and being able to see all your friends again, and I will like permanently put it into my diary like this. I want to do this more often for sure. Really enjoy it. The community spirit is great.
It's great to come to a convention. I don't get out much, so it is great. And people come back to you and say things about your work they hadn't realised. They'll have requests like, oh, why don't you do something for this film? Or I really like this, or I don't like that. It's good because at the end of the day I'm selling to that audience, and that audience is giving me some really useful feedback, which I then can think about with work.
Well, I think it's important if you're going to be drawing on a computer, it's good to kind of familiarise yourself with drawing on paper first.
First of all, like depending if it's a film I've watched already, then great. Then I'll probably go back and rewatch it and try and find out, like distill my idea down. Okay, take everything that happens in the story, distill it down to one image, and if I can create like a fun concept in that, something that gives you like a double take moment. If I'm away from my desk, what used to happen when I had my day job in design, I used to just have post notes. So I used to like just scribble ideas down. So this is like my Guardians of the Galaxy original idea that I had, which later that evening I drew the poster.
To be honest, I only ever really use a pencil just to get a really quick thumbnail idea down, and it's usually I only do that if I'm not at my computer.
I think it's possible that people think it's easier to do it on a computer, which isn't always the case. In fact, it's not. There is a stigma attached to digital and traditional.
I'm in that school of thought where really anything can, if you draw it, that's cool. If you pencil it, that's cool. If you then take that and do digital stuff, that's also cool. If you're a 3D artist and you start with that, I think anything can really be considered. And I think the end product is the thing that matters, really.
I get a lot of comments saying, is this traditional or digital? You know, the finished artwork. And I don't answer them anymore because it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. So for those of you who are watching, sorry I don't answer those questions anymore because it doesn't matter.
The first print I did was based on Hammer's Dracula, the 1958 film with Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing. So I did that as a limited Giclee run. I think originally I'd thought, oh yeah, I'll do 300 screen prints and they'll sell out in 20 seconds and stuff. But yeah, quickly had my came back down to earth and did a Giclee run and sold about 40. So.
I used to collect screen prints, and then after I'd bought a few Giclee prints or even just digital prints, I kind of realised that it really doesn't make much of a difference at the end of the day. I know that there's more of an artistry, if you like, to screen printing, but if you have both prints up on the wall and one's a Giclee and one's a screen print, I don't think you'd ever notice personally.
What do we do? Like, people won't buy them if it's not a screen print. And I was just maybe being like, this, it's got to change or else we're not going to be able to do it.
Ever since I started this, I've never really sort of got the idea that screen print is somehow inherently better than any other printing form.
Screen printing in general is like, it's one of the cheapest forms of printing ever invented. So that was the whole point of screen printing, I think, when it first became a thing.
The vast majority of collectors, especially in the States, seem to really want to go the silkscreen route. It all stems really from the band posters from the 60s and 70s.
Then obviously the movie side of it came along with Mondo. I can't count the amount of times people ask me, are you a Mondo? Are you a Mondo? Now, what does that mean?
I can understand why they want to do silkscreen prints, because they are hand produced in limited numbers, so from a collecting point of view they have a value.
For some reason the collectors have kind of got excited about screen prints. I think it's Mondo's fault.
But I think the real love for screen printing is because it's an additional art form on top of the art that you've created already. Not one print is 100% exactly like the last one, depending how the ink's pulled and how it rests, you've got a unique piece of work.
But unfortunately, certain artists, their work doesn't really work well in that medium. They lose all the tone and the texturing that they spent hours to create and the detail. So that isn't always the preferred route of illustrators.
My stuff doesn't lend itself to screen print really, because there's too many gradients and colours. So I think if the art suits it, then screen print's probably best for certain artworks. It's a bit of an elitist thing, I think, with a lot of collectors. I don't know where it's come from, but art is art at the end of the day. How it's presented doesn't really matter. If you like it, you like it.
With screen print and Giclee, I have a bit of a screen printed background, so I'm used to what it can do. So with screen print, you can get more vibrant colours, spot colours, you can play around with holofoils, metallics, whereas at Giclee you're going to be a little bit more limited. So really it's what fits the art.
I'm not that picky about it really. It's the artwork that's most important, having the art on the wall. It depends on the print. Screen print can look amazing in person. When you see the effect of the inks on paper, can look really good. But if you've got a really detailed print with lots of different colours, then Giclee can be the best. So it's whatever's best for the artwork for me.
So I think when somebody says, oh, it's a shame it's not a screen print, we don't take that personally. It's like, okay, cool, you're a screen print collector.
I take it personally.
Yeah, you take it.
What do you mean that you don't want it as a screen print? What about the picture? I made the picture. It's the picture that counts, not how it was made.
Yeah.
That's what I've always thought.
So
yeah, I get really mad when people
I was trying to be diplomatic. No. Yeah, it's fine.
I don't really know between the two, if I'm being honest. They both do, and it depends on what the style of print you're after as well. So the Giclee can just, if you something that's more detailed, more colours, you're gonna get the better result from that. But the screen print, I think most of mine ended up being screen print anyway from that, so that's probably the one I kind of just steer towards anyway. But they're all nice.
Screen print.
Screen print.
Screen print.
Or Giclee, normally, yeah. I know a lot of guys who, prefer screen printing, and I know a lot of collectors prefer it. But obviously, it depends on the artist's style. But my style kind of lends itself better to Giclee printing, really. So, yeah.
If I had the choice, I wouldn't choose to present my work in a screen print. Screen prints are fine, but given the choice, I prefer something that looks as close to the original as possible, and a screen print can't do that. So it's personal preference, but a lot of collectors love the screen prints, and that's just the way that is.
Future's good, isn't it? I like the future.
For Vice Press, we'll just keep doing what we're doing, and we'll continually evolve, continually get new licenses, work with new artists. The sky's the limit.
All sorts you could do, isn't there?
I think moving forward there is a real argument to say you could combine something like this with, let's say, a Thought Bubble event. There's so many other people doing it now with Vice Press, Bottleneck Gallery, Grey Matter Art. I do think that the two sides could come together, and I just think it is the way forward.
A really exciting development has been the promotion of the UK British artists working on not only alternative movie posters but also key art for feature films. They're used a lot on social media and online, and obviously in the cinemas that have now fitted TV monitors where their posters are used also. So that's a great new medium, and that's the future, and that is where poster design is moving.
And I think a lot of people have grown up with film, and so the memories that they share with film is like that first visit to the cinema with your father or your mother. Those are the things that people hold very dear to them. That's why I think people love cinema still. And poster art is another form of that, or even like the original theatrical poster. It's that little slice of that moment that you can take home with you. We all get to be a kid and rejoice in those memories. I think that's why people love it so much. It's something that captures your imagination.
Conventions are really good, and in many ways we're all kindred spirits. We can all kind of get together again and swap stories and share some good times.
We'll be around for a while.
Either that or we'll go bankrupt.
Bankrupt trying. Yeah.